I'll take it back. We're going back to 1687 when I stood at the docks getting ready as a new shipment of African slaves was due to set sail across the Atlantic northwest past the Azores, the Canary Islands, and then onwards to what was called the New World. And this is what I wrote at that time. Now, we've time traveled. It's now 2020. And with the use of modern technology, I'm able to now record what I wrote that day. November 24, 1687. Right now, as you can hear, I'm on that journey. I don't want to be here. I don't think any one of us want to be here. But we all have to make a living. This is what I wrote. What I was looking at defeated even my senses. I mean, I'd seen everything up until this moment, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for what lay in front of me. I mean, you can think of the worst things you've seen. Nothing that you can think of would have prepared you for what I was looking at on that day. And as far as I could see, and even further, iron cages lined the docks in rows of 3 deep, adjacent to, and from what I counted as 10, adjacent to these, who knows, there maybe were even more vessels victualling for the 40-day journey that awaited all those who would soon set sail. But 3 deep, adjacent to every ship as far as I could see. As gruesome the sight of cages filled with once free and proud people, as ghastly as this may have been, it was far outweighed by the unfathomable cruelty of the guards and deckhands who would soon be overseeing these lost souls, the last freedoms that these people had were cruelly being overseen by these guards. And what awaited these people was an even further sad or inhuman existence in the so-called New World. What horror awaited those who had been sold out by their former friends and neighbors, alongside those whose only crime was being defeated in battle, or who came from a tribe deemed unworthy of living any longer within the community and was now being cast aside. Thrown from the known world by a trade so cruel that it belied cruelty itself to acknowledge such inhumane treatment of man towards man. What horror awaited these caged people, perhaps only God knew. And if God knew, then you could argue that no sane God could ever sanctify such horror. Watching priests bless the vessels ahead of the journey further demeaned the trade that could only bestow heinous consequences upon any world, let alone a new world. Blacks, whites, and half-castes stood surrounding the cages in various stages of mercantile meandering. So-called white gentlemen and their accompanying bookkeepers, clerks, tallymen, and other assorted jobs mixed openly with black traders and tribal leaders, adorned with pouches for gold coins and honorary notes. that underpinned the shipment's soon-to-be journeying to the northwest across the Atlantic Ocean to the Americas. Dockside, the unmistakable sounds of anvil strikers playing their trade in final preparations for the enslaved to be even further debased clanged across the sea of hopelessness engulfing the human cargo. Not just the clanging, though, since from the cages sounds of tears, groans, screaming, and perhaps the most unsettling shrill crying of young children on either side of the caged walls. Families in some cases being torn apart, families in some cases selling their own family members. The whole view leaving a taste so sickening that it was all I could do to contain myself from spewing my organs onto the ground at the feet of all who were capitalizing from this subjugation. It was a day, though the sun shone strongly, that such darkness rendered the strongest shadows invisible. I have to hang my head in shame for being folly to this industry. I can only hope to be judged in eternity by some being who will assess and adjudicate my involvement in what I was just describing.